It was a farce. It was the biggest farce I've ever seen. I was so excited to watch it. And, you know, a lot of people don't like Hamilton, but I'm a massive fan of Hamilton. I love greatness. I think he's great. And he drove the perfect race. He was absolutely brilliant from the start to the end. And he got completely cheated out of it. It was an absolute mockery of the sport to take it away from him. The way they did it as well, and it just listening to him on the radio when he was saying like, "What's going on?" and then he kind of realised all of a sudden that he was just going to have a one-lap race against Max Verstappen, who was on fresh tyres, who'd pitted, who was like 15 seconds behind him with 5 cars behind him, and then all of a sudden he's a second behind him with 1 lap to go. He had no chance. He had no chance of defending that because, you know, Max's car was going to be always going to be quicker, and it was an absolute disgrace. It was literally like saying you're 3-0 up in an FA Cup final, and the referee goes, "You know what? This is a bit boring. Let's play next goal wins." And just see what happens. And you're like, well, hold on a minute. I've dominated for 89 minutes. And you're just going to give it up and let him beat me? It was ridiculous.
Well, we had Fern Bolsh on earlier on that was saying, because we were asking these same questions, Jamie, Ali and I, and Fern was saying that all the teams agreed that if there would be a scenario like this with the safety cars coming on and that would end the race, they all agreed that actually they would restart in this manner, so or allow this to happen. So there is something, which is why the appeals are being thrown out. Mercedes
on, the appeals. I mean, it's like asking my son to, you know, mark his own homework. You know, they're not going to go against themselves, are they? They're going to stick by it. The race director was an absolute shambles. I'd never known anything like it, and it was just the last 5 laps were a mess, and he actually didn't know what he was doing, and all he wanted to do was create a TV spectacle. That's what he wanted, but that was so unfair on Lewis Hamilton, who was brilliant and dominated the race and was quicker than Max and drove better than him, got punished for being great, basically, and that's not sport. That's not sport. That's a business where you're trying to create something for the fans. But that's not right. Hamilton should have won the race. He deserved to win the race, and he got cheated out of it. And, you know, I actually think it actually really wound me up. Wound me up. My missus was like, "Why do you care? You hardly even watch F1." I was like, "I do watch it, and I love Hamilton, and he doesn't get the respect that he deserves, and he's got cheated out of it." And everyone's like, "Yeah, well done, Max." And I'm like, well done. You know, Lewis deserved to win and become the greatest champion of all time, and he got took away from him because of someone else. It's not right.
Ali McCoist?
Well, it's difficult to argue with what Jamie said. The only thing I would say is, I think, was it Fern or was it Robert was on earlier telling us that Lewis benefited the exact same thing at Imola when he and somebody else crashed and he got back on. So I get it. I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable, like Jamie says, with the fact that the title effectively was turned around in a split second and handed to Verstappen due to the fact that Nicholas Latifi crashed his car.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That doesn't sit right with me. And because Nicholas Latifi crashes his car, an 11-second lead becomes 1 second lead. For me, you know, in the cold light of day looking at it, and I enjoy my F1, but I would never claim to be an expert. It just doesn't sit right. The one thing, and I'm sure I'm listening to Jamie, and I'm sure you will agree, I'll tell you what, Hamilton didn't half behave like a world champion after the race.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought he was fantastic, and I've never been his biggest fan. I thought he was fantastic after the race. The way he handled it, he really did, mate.
In a sad way, it's probably actually good for Hamilton that he did lose, because all of a sudden now everyone's on his side and gives him the respect that he deserves. And like, oh, actually, this man is great. Look how humble he was in defeat. The way he acted, it shows how great of an icon he is. He'll come back. He will win another title for sure. He'll get 8. But it was just, you know, I just couldn't believe it. Ali, what about them like phoning the guy who's making the decisions? Like, it's like Rafa and, you know, Klopp phoning up VAR. Like, come on, lads,
I know.
Come on, make a decision. We only need 1 penalty to make it a game.
I'd love to see that though. I'd love it if Klopp was like, right, give me the phone.
Yeah,
let
do you know what I mean?
to him myself.
Hold on, that can't be right. Come on, lads.
I'll tell you something, Jamie. Would you? I'll tell you what it has done, and I said to Fern, the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks has put F1, if it wasn't at the top of the map, it's the top of the map now. Everybody and their granny are talking about it. I mean, it's everybody's talking about it. Monday morning, going into work, you can guarantee all the guys will be talking about it. All the guys and girls will be, it's just put it right at the top because everybody's got an opinion on it.
Well, you're right, Ali, because we actually said that we were going to open the phone lines 03717 22 3344. They are full up, which is quite incredible, really. Let's speak to Gary Lee. He wants to have his say. Good morning.
Morning, Gary.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing?
Very well,
We're
Gary.
doing very well. What was your take on yesterday, my friend?
Well, I was just saying to the girls in the studio before I come through. So I've been involved in the sport for about 20 plus years as a competitor from an amateur level, and then as a fan, and then from business I run a sports management agency. And for anyone who watches the sport regularly will know that basically what happened yesterday is what fans, competitors and teams have been asking for years now. We've been asking to let them race. You know, the lap car rule and regulation, everyone has complained about it for years, about how we let the unlapped cars go through and then let them catch up again. That's not what we should do. Let's just go racing. So in terms of what they've done what everyone's been asking for years. But unfortunately, as fickle sports fans across every sport, if it doesn't go your way or your team's way, you're going to think it's fun.
Yeah, but Gary, can I say this? You say I understand they want to let them race, and I get that. But Hamilton raced for 57 laps and was 15 seconds quicker. So they're not racing, are they? Because he's been able to come up behind him with 1 lap to go on fresh tyres. That's not racing. That's an unfair advantage all of a sudden.
Well, it is, but that's the gamble that the Red Bull took at the time, not knowing whether they would get racing again. At the point that Red Bull pitted and gave him fresh tyres, that was just purely a gamble. And it happened earlier in the season where Lewis benefited the opposite way.
Yeah.
Where, you know, and it happens, you know, that's the rules and regulations, and the team took a gamble and it paid off for them.
Gary,
You know?
Gary, I want to ask you as well. People are forgetting. We've all got an opinion on it. Obviously, Jamie's got one, I've got one, you've got one. Surely that is a far better option than one of the other options that was available to Michael Massey, and that was everybody finishing behind the safety car. That would have been. I just think that would have been horrendous.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. So as fans and as, you know, competitors and teams, that's the thing that absolutely they hate. And for the show as well, you know, let's not forget, this is a show. And that's what, you know, we've been asking for. You know, when races finish behind the safety car, everyone goes, oh, that was terrible, they should have, you know, the track was clear, and it was very, very safe. Safety is of the utmost importance in F1, you know, and it has been for many years due to how previously dangerous the sport's been. The track was clear, the track was safe, they got the cars out of the way, regardless if they let all 7 by, they still would have been able to race, so I don't really get that point. It's just they were doing it to guarantee that we could at least get a race. So, you know, but, you know, Max had been slower than Lewis on the softer tyres. Yes, they were newer tyres, but Lewis had been, as you know, Jamie already said, Lewis had been far quicker. Max still had to do the overtake, and it was. I mean, I'm a bit of a, you know, I love Lewis, I love Max. I'm a bit of a neutral in terms of the positioning, but I just, you know, I thought that, you know, from my 2 pennies worth is that having been involved in the sport, this is what everyone's been asking for years and years and years, and now it's happened. You know, if you're the one who's not benefited from it, then you're going to complain. But listen, it's done what it was meant to do, right? We've been asking for years and years and years for Formula One to get a little bit more mainstream rather than just your hardcore fans, and we're all talking about it. So.
All right. Well, look, thanks so much for your call. It was a brilliant one. Thank you, Gary. Have a wonderful day. And if you want to get involved in the discussion, 03717 22 3344. Did yesterday's finale put you off F1, or has it got everyone talking about it? Let's hear from you.